There we go. All righty. Hello, everyone, and officially welcome to Winning Grants Together, a blueprint for nonprofit team success. We're so excited to have you here today. This workshop is being recorded and slides will be shared afterwards, so keep your eyes peeled for that. A little bit about me, because folks are sharing in the chat. My name is Deanna and I run partnerships for Instrumentl and lead weekly grant workshops with expert educators and best-selling offers where we focus on tackling a problem that grant professionals often have to solve while also sharing different processes, tools, and systems to track them. Instrumentl currently helps over 2,500 nonprofits in finding, tracking, and managing their grants. And what that means is that every day we hear and see what blocks nonprofits from achieving their grant-seeking goals, which is exactly what brings us here today. I also want to introduce you to my co-host, Mia.
Hey, everyone. So my name is Mia, and I spend a good portion of my job talking to nonprofits and grant consultants. And then I take this feedback to our product team that then ensures that Instrumentl truly serves our customers and is continuously improved. I also have a nonprofit background, so I used to run my own organization for 3 years, and we had projects that centered around cultural tourism, preserving cultural heritage, and fighting for social justice.
Awesome, thanks, Mia.
Yep.
And before we officially jump in, just want to give everyone a reminder that this webinar is primarily for people who are not currently using Instrumentl. If you are using Instrumentl and you're on here, you might still find value from this presentation, but we just wanted to make that very clear before we officially jump in.
Yes, so to kick things off, what does basketball have to do with grant making? So basketball as a sport can provide you with valuable insights and lessons that are applicable to grant making and teamwork. It's basically a team sport that emphasizes the importance of collaboration and teamwork. And similarly, grant making often involves multiple individuals or organizations working together towards a common goal. So just like basketball players must communicate, trust each other, and coordinate their efforts, grant makers also have to find a way to collaborate effectively. So grant making is definitely not a solo sport, or at least it shouldn't be, but let us know in the chat how does this feel for you? What is the part that's most challenging when it comes to seeking and securing funding or collaborating with your team members? So how do you actually build a cohesive grant team, and what makes one grant team winning one? We will discuss this first within our agenda. Then we'll discuss time-saving techniques and tools. We will explain how you can revolutionize your team's workflow with grant software. We will also talk about 5 great lessons from successful teams. And at the end, we will have a Q&A session. Also, be sure to stick until the end, because we have a very special 35-page blueprint to help you set your team for success. And this is the first time we're actually publishing it live, so stick around. So to get back to our first point, how do you build a cohesive grant team, and what makes one grant team winning one? So after we talked with multiple grant teams of various priorities and sizes, we noticed that the winning formula, so to say, that's easy to remember for assembling a strong team is actually R plus 3 C's. So moving forward, this reflects this reflects the 4 main things that you need to pay attention to if you want a high-performing team. So first, the R refers to roles and responsibilities. So you need to have clearly defined roles and responsibilities. That is, you should start with creating an organizational chart for your organization. Then you need to establish a team culture that's shared by every team member. Then you need to ensure that there is efficient communication and knowledge sharing within your team members. And lastly, you need to enable great collaboration between your team members. So if your nonprofit is a solo effort for now, that's okay. So you can still find 1 to 2 people in your circle of influence that have skills to contribute with, whether they have like a creative mind to help you bounce ideas off of, or they are great at organizing things. Let them lend their skills to help you accomplish your goals. And as I'm sure that you all are very aware of, nonprofit professionals tend to wear multiple hats. I know I did while I was at my organization. And it's mainly because of limited resources, but also because we do have a true passion for the cause that we're fighting for. We also tend to have like a broad skill set, and are generally committed to the cause we're fighting for, and also flexible, but that can be rather challenging. So I'm curious to learn more about the multiple hats that you wear at your organization. So let us know in the chat. What we learned is that people are often taking like leadership roles, but also take on more hands-on tasks such as grant writing. So moving on to the next slide, here you can see different job titles that are typical for an established nonprofit organization. And all of them have unique challenges. So it's important to understand what these challenges are, because that's how you can foster empathy in your organization and find the best way to support each team member. But also what's interesting is that all team members have a shared goal, and they have overlapping challenges. So for instance, like looking at the executive director, executive directors are most commonly decision makers. So they have to find a way to prioritize initiatives. They have to adapt to changing circumstances to ensure that the nonprofit is set up for success. And they also have to balance diverse perspectives coming from different board members. Then like taking grant writers, for example, they are faced with the challenge of writing persuasive grant proposals. So they have to combine storytelling, data analysis, and to wisely use their communication and writing skills. And they also have to articulate the organization's mission, goals, and impact in a clear and compelling manner, so that the funder really takes the grant proposal into consideration. And let's take director of communications as the last example. So directors of communications have to engage and build relationships with various stakeholders, including donors, volunteers, community members, and the media, which is certainly a challenge. But what is the common goal, and what is that main overlapping challenge? So on the next slide, we can see that basically, if you work at a nonprofit, you all have the same goal. You want to secure funding for the organization so that you can make an impact and do good in the world. And you also have this like main overlapping challenge, which is that you need to work more efficiently. You need to find a way to easily track progress and to collaborate with your team seamlessly. So before we continue, we have a special offer for you. So you can get this editable 22-page template that will get your team on the same page. So it's basically a template that allows you to organize your entire team. So it is a nonprofit employee handbook, so you can expect everything from how to formalize employee benefits and compensation, how to regulate time off and leave policies, health and safety policies, and it also includes like information on how to handle, for instance, workplace injuries or whistleblower protection. And it also includes best practices for creating, that is, adjusting and adapting this template. So if you want to get this template, I would really appreciate if you email me, because we want to really understand what are the challenges that grant makers go through. So just a short paragraph about your biggest grant making challenge, and I'll make sure to send you the link.
Awesome. And just to like give an overall summary of the common challenges that we hear and we see in folks' experience on nonprofit teams, if we were to summarize them into 4 main categories, this is what they would look like. Information fragmentation, ineffective communication, limited collaboration, and limited visibility and accountability. And these are the 4 challenges that we're going to chat about more today.
Yes. So besides having people on your team who are valuable, who are talented and committed, you also need to have the right tools and processes in place. And as you can see on this slide, Instrumentl can act as an all-in-one grants platform that actually helps you not to have like multiple tools, but to have a single tool that covers different fractions of your grant life cycle. So, for instance, if you were to have if you were to need like a grant tracker, a grants calendar, a grants management platform, and different project management tools, which are separate tools that we learned that grant consultants and nonprofits use. It's far better to have an all-in-one grants platform that covers all of these, because it will save you a ton of research time and enable you to focus on things that matter, as opposed to wasting your time on, let's say, administrative tasks or chasing deadlines, or just losing your mind tracking grants in spreadsheets. And of course, in addition to this all-in-one grants platform, you would still need to use collaborative document editing tools. So everything related to grant prospecting, grant tracking, management, and project management in terms of collaborating with your team, you can do that in Instrumentl. And when it comes to the actual writing of the grant, you would need to use a Google Docs or some other writing tool. And when it comes to processes, these are the typical processes and templates that we learned that nonprofits use. So typically there has to be like a developed grant review process. And it's like the optimal process that we learned is included in the freebie that you can receive after this event. Grant proposal templates. So instead of starting from scratch, you use a template that has brought your nonprofit success earlier. And then you have grant proposal checklists, which is basically how you ensure that you follow everything through, and you basically have a to-do list of everything that needs to be done before submitting your proposal.
Awesome. So what we're going to do now is take a pause and take a look at the way that Instrumentl addresses the challenges that we mentioned just prior. So what we're going to do first is set everyone up with a free 14-day trial of Instrumentl. It takes just a couple minutes and there's no credit card required. This will also help you be able to follow along on your end as we dive into the platform here in a second and discuss the many ways that it can help with your nonprofit team's success. So if you don't already have an account, I'm going to drop a link in the chat to create your free trial. If you want to open up that link and fill out that first page, and then hit the next button. Once you hit the next button, you'll see a spot to choose a strategy consultation time to talk with a member of our customer success team to review your project. I suggest you pick a time in the next couple of days. That way your project that you create today, you can ensure that it's set up optimally. So once you fill out that first 2 pages, you're going to come up to a screen that looks like this. And when you get to this page, if you want to pop an emoji of your choosing in the chat, then we'll jump in.
Yeah, maybe we can give people like a couple of minutes so that they can fill out the form before continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diona, I'm just reading through the chat and I can see that there are a lot of people who wear multiple hats, like 4 to 5 hats. That's like an average number.
Yeah, all the hats.
All the hats: financial, admin, education, social media, and now grant writing.
Yes, Julian, you're going to use that link that I just posted above to create that free trial. And then if you're interested in getting that editable freebie template, you'll email Mia's email, which I'll pop in the chat again, and send her a paragraph explaining your biggest challenge related to grant making. Just a reminder to pop an emoji in the chat or react whenever you reach a place where you are at this page that you see on the screen. Looks like we got one from Robert. Awesome. Awesome. Looks like folks are getting to a place where they're done setting that up. We'll wait a couple more minutes for other folks. We'll jump in. Awesome. Let us know if you're having any issues for any reason. We're also here to help troubleshoot if we need to. Here, Kim, I'll drop that link in the chat one more time. There you go. Lisa, if you haven't reached this screen yet, keep clicking through. You'll have to set up that consultation call and then choose whose account it is, and then you should be able to get to this screen. But let us know if you're having any issues. Maybe one more minute. Looks like folks are getting set up. Calandra, if hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If you're talking about the free editable template, you'll get that afterwards once you email Mia, just to clarify.
Yeah, it's not an automatic email. Oh, so Calendar is talking about signing up.
I'm not sure that you should be getting an email. You should just be able to fill out that that link that we just sent in to create your 14-day trial, and then it should be good to go from there. Correct me if I'm wrong though, Mia.
Yeah, if you are a registered 501c3 nonprofit in the US, you should be able to create a trial. Create a free trial. Julian says, my free trial has expired. Next steps. I had one last fall. Yeah, I'm not sure how to troubleshoot this right now. Maybe Julian, you can try signing up with a different email.
Yeah,
different email account. Yeah,
that's what I would suggest. Or we can, if you're wanting to follow along, we can potentially look into extending your free trial from last year. But for now, I would recommend using a different email.
Yeah.
Kim, if you're seeing that appointment calendar, if you want to choose a time to talk to a member of our customer success team, they'll help you set up your first project after this. And then once you get through that, you're on the screen here that says project details.
So Arnold, the requirements are that you are a registered 501c3 nonprofit in the US, and that you have a budget of minimum 90K. So those are the customers that Instrumentl serves the best and that qualify for a free trial.
Awesome. All right, I think we're good to move on. If you haven't been able to set up your account, let us know in the chat if there's anything we can do to help. Otherwise, looks like a lot of folks have been able to do that. So we're gonna move forward. And so let's say you are at the screen here, you're looking at project details and it's asking you to tell us more about your project. What I'm going to do here is walk you through how to fill this out so you're able to get set up with the best list of good fit funders for your organization. So first here, we have the project overview tab, starting with the project name, and moving all the way down here. Just to give an overview, a project is a dedicated workspace with a saved grant search and a tracker. So once we fill out these initial 2 pages, you're going to see all of that here in a second. So to begin, you're going to enter your project name. So this is, what are you specifically raising for, or is it more general? Today, I'm going to pretend to be an organization here in San Francisco where I'm located, which provides after-school tutoring in STEM for high school students. So what I'm going to do is just call that after-school tutoring STEM. So if you want to take a second to think of a project name there, don't worry, you can always edit this afterwards if you think of something better to describe what you want to get funding for today. But for now, you can enter a project name, and then you'll choose applicant type. So most of you should probably be choosing nonprofit, but if any of the others apply, definitely choose those. And then you're going to get down here to a question about, would you like to see grants specifically for faith-based organizations or programs? If yes, click yes, and if no, click no. And then what you're going to do is save and continue. Give me a thumbs up if folks were able to fill out that page, and then I'll walk you through this next page, or an emoji in the chat. Awesome. Perfect. Give everyone a couple more seconds before I jump into this next page. Okay, so jumping into project details, for these next questions in this section, it's important to be as specific as possible. This will tell our special algorithm here at Instrumentl what grant opportunities are most contextually relevant for your organization and which are the best fit. So for this first question, which areas does your project serve? We're entering geographic information. So let's say you're in a few places or you're nationwide, you might want to choose some of those most high impact areas that you serve. Today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm inside the United States. My project takes place in specific states or counties in the US. Because my target population are high school students in San Francisco County, I'm going to just type in San Francisco here. And confirm that, but you should be able to look every county in every state, or if you're statewide, you can just click the state overall. But want to make sure that you get an accurate location here so we can match you to those grants that are in your location. And then next is fields of work. This is very, very important. And this is what's going to search through those 12,000 plus opportunities that we have in Instrumentl, and again, match you to the best ones. So what I recommend as you're kind of familiarizing yourself with Instrumentl is just clicking in here and browsing all categories so you can get an idea of all of the different fields of work that we have as an option. For today and for my project, what I'm going to do is go down to education. That seems like a very obvious match with after school tutoring STEM. And then I'm going to scroll through this and just see what might be relevant to my organization. And really what we're aiming for here is 2 to 5 fields of work that we're choosing. If you have any more, it's going to match you with like too many opportunities. And if you have too few, you might not have as many opportunities, good fit funders that you want to search through. So that sweet spot is 3 to 5. So after school summer educational programs, that's a great one for mine. Scrolling down, we have education high school, another one that works really well with my project. scroll down a little bit more. STEM education, also a fantastic one. And then I'm going to choose my last one, which is going to be tutoring and mentoring, because again, that one is very relevant to this project that I'm funding. So what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to update those 4 fields of work. And then I'm going to move on to this next question about what size grants am I looking for? I personally suggest putting a minimum. If you feel like 500, let's say, is a worth your time, a good ROI, you can definitely choose that. I would say maybe starting with 1,000 and then putting no maximum, because we always want more money, so no max there, but choosing what feels right for you and what window of funding that you're looking for. And then next, we're going to choose what the funds are actually used for. In my case, I'm going to choose project and program and general operating expenses. And then I'm going to save and exit. If everyone can see a thumbs up whenever you reach the end of these questions, then what we'll do is we're going to press save and exit, and we're going to see the magic of Instrumentl happen right before our eyes. Awesome. Looks like people are wrapping up. It's amazing. Okay, so if everyone wants to press save and exit, we can all have this happen on our screens at the same time. So what this does is it takes our algorithm, it takes all of those 12,000 opportunities that we have in here, and it's going to match you and your organization and your project that you want to get funding for to the best set of grants for you. And here you can see for my project, there are at least 288 grants that are really good fit funders for my project. So once you get onto this screen, you'll see you have your funder opportunities here on the left, all of the matches that you were matched with by Instrumentl, and then you can click into each funding opportunity here on the right and see more information about these specific funders, and then decide which funders you actually want to move forward with and which opportunities are going to be worth your time and worth really going through the application process. So let's say hypothetically you find a bunch of really awesome grants, like 5 to 7 grants that you want to move forward with for this specific project. What you're going to do is you're going to save these to your tracker as such. You'll save them, put the status. Let's pretend like I did that for 5 to 7 grants that I looked through here on the left, and I really, really want to move forward with them. What you'll do, I'm going to flip to this next tab and refresh it. What you'll see once you'll have this matches tab here, and then you can click over to your tracker. Once you save those grant opportunities, you're going to have a really awesome spot to see any and all things that you need for this grant process. So what we're going to do specifically today is talk about the key features that will help your nonprofit team succeed and collaborate and really find success in managing grants together. And we're going to start with how to track grants and collaborate with ease. So once you set up your first project, you're going to have a tracker, like I said, that looks a little bit like this once you fill out all of the information. And then we are going to jump into specific features here today. Just want to make sure there's no questions in the chat first.
Yeah, it looks like Brooke and Kim cannot access Instrumentl. They just encountered the Calendly screen, and then yeah, the screen says someone will call them. But I think that maybe the workaround is to go to the homepage, to instrumentl.com, and then try logging in with your login details. Mm-hmm. If you manage to finalize creating the free account, or check your email. Maybe in the email you will receive a login link.
Yeah, keep us updated if you're able to get through.
Yeah.
If not, just so everyone knows, just a reminder, this will be recorded. So if you are able to set up your account afterwards, you can always pull up this recording and then go through what we're going through today and set up your account. So fear not, you will make sure that everyone is able to do that successfully. But jumping in, let's jump into Instrumentl. So Instrumentl, what you can do is you can easily add opportunities from our database those 12,000 grant opportunities that we just spoke about, as well as opportunities found elsewhere. So if you have opportunities that you found outside of Instrumentl or that you've already been working on before you decided to use Instrumentl, you're actually able to insert those into Instrumentl and then put them all in one spot so you can see it all on one screen and have everything neatly organized. You can organize things by submission requests. You can do so by year. You can do it by application stage and project. And all of this really allows you to keep everyone in the loop. And you can do so by updating the statuses of submissions as you make progress and hear funder responses. So that's an overview. And then what we're going to do is actually click into what that looks like. So right now we're looking at our tracker, which is the main way in which you're going to look at all of the things regarding your project that you're wanting to get funding, all the different grant opportunities. You can see right here we have 6 grant opportunities for this project that we're looking to either research, plan, or we've already actively applied to them. They're all here. And then what you can also do is see all of this information in a couple different ways. So the first way is the calendar view. And this displays all of your tasks and deadlines and funder deadlines, submission goals, future cycles, all on a calendar visual, so your team never misses grant deadlines and deliverables. You can also filter this by project, by task assignee, and by task kind, grant owner, and submission deadline type, so that you are able to really filter through and see the information that you want to see on the calendar. And then going back to our tracker, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click into a specific opportunity and show you all about tasks. So what you can do for a specific grant opportunity is create tasks for your custom milestones, such as reporting deadlines or draft due dates, and keep you and your team on track. First things first, what you can do here in the task, I'll show you. You can add tasks here. Here's an example of a task for submitting a report. You can see the task type is report. There's also LOI, full proposal, cultivation, general, and other that you can designate it. You can put the deadline for the task. Oops. There we go, as well as the assignee and any other collaborators that might be on your account that you're collaborating with on your team to get this grant submitted. You can also add a new task. There most likely are going to be multiple tasks associated with one grant opportunity, so you can add as many as you want and make sure that the correct person is assigned on your team for that. And then what you can also do is in Instrumentl, it's really simple to divide grant ownership and store all of your grant documentation in a single place, as well as login information like you can see here for funder portals. This is great because I don't know if people identify with this, but I always forget my passwords to things, and having a place to actually store it so I don't have to refresh and reset my password every time I try to log in is really, really helpful. So there's a way to do that for each individual funding opportunity here. And you can also upload documents, any documents relevant to this grant opportunity, such as a report draft here, as an example. You can add those by clicking here and making sure that all of your team members that are on Instrumentl can access these documents and be on the same page. And we've gotten a couple questions in the past about, like, can we link Google Documents? We're working on figuring out how we can add Google Docs specifically here, but in the meantime, a really awesome workaround is adding the Google Doc in like the opportunity notes section here on the right. So you can access those links easily as a team. So that is really awesome ways that you can work with your team to go from having information fragmentation to better centralized data management, and then also limited collaboration to more streamlined collaboration. And then what we do. So ultimately, all of this says that your transparency that you can create with Instrumentl is going to help you build trust, facilitate better communication with your team, and foster collaboration amongst all the parties involved with a grant opportunity. It also simplifies reporting requirements, as relevant information is very readily available on the platform, which we'll go into a little bit more later. But really everyone is involved in the process, and they are able to easily access and contribute to the necessary information. And as you can see on Instrumentl, it also efficiently solves the challenge of information fragmentation and limited collaboration, overall saving you time and your team members precious energy, so you can really allocate other tasks such as, setting a grant strategy, writing the strong grant proposal, or developing relationships with your funders. So flipping back into Instrumentl, what we're going to do now is talk a little bit more about how to keep everyone in the loop and improve your overall workflow. Because inefficient communication paired with limited visibility, as we talked to before, and accountability are two additional challenges faced by grant teams often. So when talking with grant teams of all sizes, we also notice that a common theme when it comes to these challenges are that there's three main goals that most nonprofit professionals want to achieve. And those are a clear way to divide grant ownership and play into team strengths, a simple way to track deadlines and have full control over the grant overall grants life cycle, and also an easy way to generate reports and make sure that all relevant key stakeholders, from team members to board members to whoever it may be, are up to date when it comes to all the different grant opportunities that your team is working on. So first, what I'm going to do is show you how to assign a grant owner to a specific opportunity. Let's take this first grant here, SBHSN Community Grants. We're going to click into this opportunity, and up here in the right-hand corner, there's a little drop-down menu for choosing an owner. In my case here today, I'm the only member on my account, but if you add other team members, you should be able to choose those team members and designate who specifically is going to be, the project manager for this specific grant. And that might look like the same person for every grant if you're a smaller team and you're running a one-person show, or if you have multiple teams or members working on your grants, this might look different. All these grant owners might be different folks. And then what we're going to do is click into Bayer here. And I want to show you that it's also really simple and easy to track your information according to deadlines with application cycles. So you can select the cycle that you're targeting, which could include multiple steps such as an LOI and full proposal. And the really great thing about Instrumentl is that if a funder happens to change a deadline, we're going to notify you of that and make sure that you are aware so that you're not missing any deadlines. You can see here, that's the cycle. And then you can see a funder has changed their deadlines in the case of the Bayer Fund. And then lastly, what I want to do is show everyone how you can keep folks in the loop with our reports function. We have 4 different types of reports available in Instrumentl. And ultimately, these reports provide greater visibility of funding opportunities in private foundations to key people within your org and your board who are not users within Instrumentl. So sharing these reports can create opportunities for networking. For example, one of your board members might know somebody from the foundation that you're applying to a grant for, and they can facilitate a meeting with key people at that foundation. So really taking advantage of these relationships can push your application forward. So an example that you could do there is click the report for contacts and then share that with your board if you're trying to see if they know anyone at that funder. Additionally, having the ability to download funder contacts, for example, as you can see here on the right, this allows you to understand their history of giving, making relationships easier to build. And then really overall, just in a nutshell, reports will help you and your team feel much more in sync with what your grant organization is working on in a particular month. So you can download these reports on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, whatever makes the most sense for you. You're able to download these, and these reports have links in them that people can access even if they do not have an Instrumentl account, which is really awesome. So flipping back to our slide deck. We definitely provided a pretty short overview of just a couple of the features and Instrumentl has and like their benefits. But hopefully what you can see today is Instrumentl, an all-in-one grants platform, is really going to help your team do the best work. And we really, really encourage you to create your project, to jump in and to really explore all of the different features so you can really make the most of it.
Yes, so sorry, Diona, I'm kind of answering questions in the chat in parallel, so just a second. Yes, that's a lovely name. I'm not sure if it's like Yachnea or Jachnea, but anyhow, yes, you can export reports to Excel. And Elisa, yes, Instrumentl does integrate with Salesforce. So yeah, to go back to the presentation. So this is just a visual, like a visual showcase how Instrumentl can save a lot of time, and how it actually it kind of like summarizes and reduces the need for using other tools. So instead of doing manual research online or looking at different grant databases, you have a single place where you can check different funding opportunities, where you can collaborate with your team, where you can track grants, every status, where you can manage the relationship with your funders, where you can ensure to stay on track with your grant deadlines. So everything is really neatly organized within a single system, and this helps with, as Diona mentioned, dividing grant ownership and yeah, increasing your chances for success, because you are working in a way that is optimal. So yeah, just a reminder, stay with us to get the special 35-page blueprint to help you set your team for success. And yeah, we really invested an effort to create this valuable resource. So there are exclusive insights there, links to other resources, visual summaries such as collaborative grant writing continuum, which is a very useful concept that I'm sure that some of you are familiar with. There are also other templates included within this resource. So yeah, make sure to stick around to get it. And now, if you remember, I mentioned that I talked to a lot of nonprofits and grant consultants. So we extracted 5 top lessons from nonprofits that cracked the code to success when it comes to teamwork. So the first lesson is be a force multiplier and lead the change management. So moving on to the next slide, we have talked with Beth, who is a Chief Strategist Officer. And she mentioned how people tend to have like resistance towards change and adopting new tools. I'm sure that a lot of you have also experienced, like if you are used to using spreadsheets, it's really, it can be a challenge to, you know, transition to a different grant management system. But what Beth shared is that she is the one who ensures that Instrumentl as a grants management platform is well adopted in her organization. So she does regular trainings that is like basic walkthroughs on how you can run a report or look at the uploaded documents. So this is what really contributes to improving transparency and enhancing collaboration within her nonprofit. So the next lesson, make sure your team members have easy access to vital information. Because something that I talked with Eloise, who is a nonprofit strategist at a consultancy firm called Nonprofit Navigators. So they were previously using grant spreadsheets, but then they transitioned to Instrumentl. And what she and her team appreciates the most is having this centralized location that all team members can access. So it's like having a single source of truth instead of, if you remember a few slides previously, instead of like having all the data and information about grants scattered across multiple platforms, or like being forced to research things manually online instead of simply creating projects and filling out fields of work so that Instrumentl can suggest the best grants for you. The third lesson, actively communicate with all your team members. So something that I learned talking to Beth. So she is a senior grant administrator, and she really emphasized that when you're a member of a smaller team, you don't really have time to waste. So what she appreciates about Instrumentl that her team also likes very much is the ability to show progress for her proposal. So from researching all the way to submit it and awarded or declined, whatever the status is. So again, it's all about providing this much needed visibility and access to all your team members, and having everything in a single place. So it's just very convenient and a no-brainer. The fourth lesson, finding a way to efficiently divide ownership and collaborate. So I talked with Dawn, who is a CEO and nonprofit consultant. So again, another thing that she loves about Instrumentl is the ability to manage her projects efficiently. So using tasks, she can make sure that she has all the drafts that are coming in, the team approvals that are coming in. So if she's waiting for a single document, it's all going to be nicely organized within Instrumentl. So as Diana mentioned, you have a document library that is tied to every project. So no need to like chase that document across like different Google Drive folders. Everything is where it's supposed to be in a single platform. And finally, the fifth lesson, when things start to work, double down on consistency, it will pay off. So when I talked with Linda, who is a grant writer at Sci-Hope, so they adopted Instrumentl early on and wanted to try it for finding relevant grant opportunities. And because they set up their projects properly and selected the right fields of work, this saved them a lot of time when it comes to prospecting, which then enabled them to focus on the actual writing part. So they've managed to win 30% more grants compared to their previous grant management system, and that was a huge morale boost. So actually investing in tools and developing processes can have a huge return on investment. So in this case, executive director and their development team were confident to hire Linda as a full-time grant writer versus just a freelancer.
Awesome. Well, that leads us to our Q&A. Bear with us before we leave today. We are going to give you all access to those freebies that we mentioned earlier. So stay tuned for those. We have about 5 minutes or so for questions. So if you have any questions from today's presentation or Instrumentl, if you want to pop those in the chat, we will try our best to answer all of your questions. And if we can't get to them, we'll make sure that you have a way to ask those afterwards. So we'll give folks a couple minutes to pop those in the chat and then go from there. Or if there's any questions that were for some reason missed in the chat, feel free to like copy and paste that down so we can see that and make sure everyone gets their question answered.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa asks, how do you find annual rates to be a part of this? Is it on the website? And how often can you take other trainings? Great question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do you want to take it? Yeah, it's fine.
I'm assuming, I guess, a clarifying question, you're talking about just like pricing for Instrumentl, in which case, yes, that is definitely on our website. We can link to that here in the chat in a second. And then our next slide is about all the other trainings that we have coming up. And there are, in addition to that, we have on-demand videos on our blog, really awesome blog posts, and our customer success team leads trainings for customers on a consistent basis to make sure that everyone is up to date with all of the new product releases that we have, and just how to make the most of Instrumentl as a customer. Anything to add, Mia, before I jump to the next question?
Yeah, I think no, I don't have anything to add. I linked the pricing here, so you can, if it's not quite straightforward, once you open the page, you can see what is the price per month when you commit to an annual contract. So there is like a significant discount there.
Awesome. And then question from Arnold, how did the R plus 3 C's come about?
How did? So it's a neat formula that we came up just to make it like more memorable. But basically, we have a customer success story segment on our blog. So this was extracted from the conversations that we had with our customers. We also have this impact study that we do on an annual level with customers. And yeah, we also do surveys and try to converse with nonprofits and grant consultants as often as we can. But this formula came about from conversing with our customers. Yeah.
Awesome. Just replying to Diana's message there. Okay, next question from Luke. We have like 1 or 2 more minutes for questions. Can you please summarize the lessons learned, please? Should probably do that.
Yeah, so do you want Diana to go back to the slides, or maybe we can just type in the lessons in the chat, but you will get the slides afterwards anyhow. So maybe we can use this time to address something that's just the list. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Last question, I believe, from Arnold, unless I missed any. Can the executive director, grant writer, and others work together doing grants? Question.
Yes, of course. Yes. I mean, ideally they should. So yeah, something that we discovered, like when talking to customers, is that the executive director is somebody who is like burdened with the challenge of ensuring that the nonprofit is financially sustainable, which means that it does require like diversifying revenue streams, not just from grants. And I'm saying this because like investing in grant platforms like Instrumentl, it is an expense, but when you see what is the return on investment, and when you see how much time and effort it saves you, and how quicker you get to the grant that's relevant for your organization, it pays off. So it's not an expense, but it's more like an investment.
Totally. And speaking of which, we have another question, probably our last question just due to time, so we have time to wrap up. We have a question saying, how are nonprofits with limited flexible funding able to afford Instrumentl?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I'm not sure if we have examples from nonprofits that actually included Instrumentl into their like as part of their operational expenses. So that could potentially be it. If you can find a grant that would cover your Instrumentl subscription, with the argument that it can help you do more good in the world, that is potentially something that, capacity building grants as well.
Yeah, which you can find in Instrumentl. You can find ways to actually fund Instrumentl in Instrumentl, which is Inception, but you can definitely filter for capacity building grants that we've definitely heard folks get to pay for things like technology and internal systems to help manage your team and your grants. Okay, for sake of time, we're going to wrap up on the Q&A. If you didn't get a chance to ask a question or your question wasn't answered, we're going to go through how to follow up with us here in a second. But first, I wanted to share that if you enjoyed this grant workshop today, you're going to love our other upcoming webinars, and you can register for them via our events calendar with the link I'm about to pop in the chat. We have many more coming up even in addition to these, so keep your eyes peeled on the events calendar because we're always updating that with new webinars and whatnot. So you can register for them there. And then, like I said, if you are interested in following up with us after this, here is my information. You'll also get the slides. So if you don't have time to jot this down now, you will get that afterwards. And then we also have Mia's information here. And then last but not least, as we're coming up right on the hour, as promised, we have a very exciting freebie for folks today in case you are interested in participating. This is the first time we are releasing this awesome freebie, and that is Winning Grants Together, a blueprint for nonprofit team success. So imagine all of the content that we talked about today, but even more detail. You can access that by filling out this freebie form that I'm about to pop in the chat. Takes about a second or two, 30 seconds. You'll get access to that and have that at your fingertips whenever you need it. And then I will also pop in my last link, I promise, the webinar feedback form link. If you can fill that out, we would appreciate that so we can know how we can improve these webinars. And then in addition, invite a friend to our next event and then create your trial if you have not. It's not working. That's not good.
What's not working?
The freebie link. Let me look into that really quick. Sorry, y'all. We're going to do some live troubleshooting on this. Okay, I see the issue. I apologize. Give me about 30 seconds and then it's going to be good to go. "30 seconds, promise." Okay. If you now refresh that link, can someone confirm that that now works? So sorry about that. I'll pop it in the chat one more time just in case.
Yeah.
It's not working. Uh-oh.
Oh, Tammy says it works.
It works?
Maybe you can refresh the page. Other people.
It works now. Okay, so it sounds like it's working for some people, so maybe try refreshing a couple times and then hopefully it'll work. If not, you'll get access to this slide deck afterwards and you can click the link and I will double, triple check on my end that that works for y'all. So sorry about that.
Yeah. And yeah, if you can also submit the webinar feedback form, it means the world to us because it helps us become better for future events.
Definitely.
Yep.
So, well, we are now over time. Before everyone hops off, just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone in the audience for tuning in today, being very engaged in the chat. It was at times moving so fast I couldn't even keep up, and asking very thoughtful questions. We hope that you enjoyed today's webinar and feel confident that you and your team are going to find success. Mia, any last words from you?
No, I think you covered it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank you so much, everyone.
day.
Bye.